Do I have a favourite joke? Of course I have a favourite joke, yes. My favourite joke is the one about the woman that went to the doctor's and she said, can I have big boobs? And the doctor said, what do you mean? She said, you know, big boobs. And he said, what, silicone boobs? She said, no, el naturel. Can you help? And he said, well, there is one thing you can do, I suppose. She said, what's that? He said, every morning before you go to work, he said, grab hold of them, massage them. He said, and say, Scooby-Dooby-Doobies, I want bigger boobies. She said, will that make them bigger? He said, I guarantee. Within 2 months' time, your boobs will be bigger than those beautiful women, Pamela Anderson, Jordan, and Vanessa Feltz, to name but two. And she said, well, that's great. And sure enough, 2 months later, they were out here. And then one morning, she was on her way to work, and she suddenly realised she hadn't done her exercise. And she thought to herself, oh my dear God, if I stop doing it now, the chances are my boobs will shrink. So she stood up in the middle of the bus, grabbed hold of them and said, Scooby-Dooby-Doobies, I want bigger boobies. And the gentleman sitting next to her said, excuse me, my dear. He said, are you a patient of Dr. Evans? And she said, how can you tell? And he said, hickory dickory dock. That's my favourite one, I must admit. Yes, I do love that joke, it's wonderful. It's the one about the two golfers playing golf, and one of them said, he said, have you got a pen I can borrow? And his friend said, yes, I have. And he went over to his golf bag and he brought out a foot-long pen. And his friend said, that's absolutely fantastic. He said, where did you get that from? He said, well, I've got a little genie that lives at the bottom of my golf bag. And he said, he granted me one wish. He said, and that's what I ended up with. He said, that's absolutely fantastic. He said, you think I could have a wish? He said, I don't see why not. So he went over to the golf bag and there was the little genie. And he said, hello. And he looked up, he said, hello. He said, can I have £1 million? And the genie said, well, I don't see why not. Puff! And £1 million started falling from the sky. And the golfer, he ran over, he said, no. He said, I said £1 million, not £1 million squid. And his friend came running over, he said, I forgot to tell you. He said, he's a little bit deaf. He said, do you really think I wished for a 12-inch pick? Yes, that's my favourite joke. I do love that, I've got to be honest, yes.